My dad's life hack. Know a lot of dentists and don't be afraid to ask for favors them. I didn't even realize this was my father's life hack until long after I'd grown up. I just thought our family did things a little differently from others. My father had a side hustle of repairing dental handpieces on the kitchen table after dinner, and he cultivated a network of dentists that allowed us to live a nicer life than we could otherwise afford. For vacation, we would visit a timeshare resort where he identified himself as Dr. Somebody Else. We never got new bicycles, but whenever we needed our first or a replacement, he could always get us one that had been previously used by some dentist's child who had moved onto a car. Eventually, I noticed our neighbors were always better off than we, but I didn't realize until later how unusual it was to move every year and a half or so, yet always staying within the same metro area. We would house sit for people on important overseas assignments, highly educated people who moved in some of the same circles as dentists, and therefore who my father got to know too. In one of these houses, the owners had left their piano, so my mother insisted we start piano lessons, but after we moved again, chances to practice were scarce. My father found out that a piano dealer was trying to introduce a certain piano into our state. He struck a bargain that if he could sell 10 pianos, the dealer would give him one for free, and he went right to work with his dentists. They did not fail him. We got our free piano, and thanks to my late father's life hack, I have it in my house now. Title: I accidentally trained my family to fear me. Nonfiction. A few years ago, I discovered that if I stand completely still and stare at someone long enough, they get uncomfortable. That's it. That's the entire skill. So naturally, I abused it. One day, my sister walked into the kitchen and saw me standing there silently. I just looked at her. No expression, no blinking, nothing. After about 10 seconds, she asked, "Why are you looking at me like that?" I didn't answer. I just kept staring. She immediately left. At first, I thought it was funny. Then things got out of control. A few weeks later, my mom asked me to do the dishes. I slowly turned my head and stared at her. She said, "Never mind, I'll do them." What? I wasn't even trying to get out of chores. I was just processing the request. Apparently, everyone had become convinced that my stare meant something. Soon, my entire family started making up meanings for it. If I stared at the TV, he hates this show. If I stared at the fridge, he's hungry. If I stared out the window, something is wrong. No. Sometimes I just have one brain cell active and it's busy. The peak happened when my dad brought home guests. I walked into the living room, sat down, and accidentally zoned out while looking in their direction. One of the guests got nervous and asked, "Is he okay?" My dad replied, "Don't worry, he does that." Does what? Exist? Now, whenever I accidentally stare into space, someone asks if I'm angry. Bro, I'm not angry. My brain just disconnected from the server for a minute. TLDR. I stared at people as a joke. My family eventually became convinced I communicate entirely through mysterious eye contact,